And welcome back to another episode of the Sweet Shots Podcast. Lucas Johnson alongside Chuck Johnson, Mark Johnson, episode 15. We've got another great guest lined up for today. In the studio, St. Andrews at Sweet Shots, we've got Coach Steve Kennedy from North Dakota State University. Welcome in, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
This has been it's been a long time coming. I think you got a little history here with each one of us.
You know, I look around the room and it's just like family. I mean, I've known you guys for so long.
Yep. You would have thought you would have been on earlier. Probably it took 15 episodes to get you here.
15 is kind of my number.
I was thinking we skipped a few. Are we really on 15 now, Jay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. It's crazy.
That's gone fast.
Moving along really.
I got a lot of course memories playing golf with Mr. Kennedy here. So this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So you guys did a lot of pro-ams together, right?
We did.
With Mark as
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
I was the pro in the pro-am part of the team. We'd usually get Coach Kennedy and Chuck and Dad. We were formidable. Did we ever cash?
Oh, yeah.
I think Fergus Falls.
We did one time.
Yep. That was a big pro-am, too. I was talking to Greg Moralt, who was the head professional back in the day at Fergus. It was one of the larger pro-ams in the state. Mm-hmm. And your game, that course, in your game, they matched up well, Coach.
I'm not sure my game matched up with any course, but we had a good time.
We did. We always, no matter how we played, it was a great time. Yep. Sometimes we had to get Dad and Coach Kennedy back on track. They would fall out of their carts laughing.
Yep.
We won't
tell
go
stories we don't even want to know about.
We're not going to talk about those stories.
No. Good times, though.
And we'd substitute in, if Chuck wasn't available, if he had to work, we'd substitute in Mike Stoltman.
Oh, yes.
That was a substitute. Right there, Mike Stoltman.
No, you're a friend, a great friend of the family. You're a great friend to our father, Lucas's grandfather, through coaching, and that's kind of, I assume that's how you met. Our family was through coaching. What year did you start at Fargo South?
1993.
93, and you took over for Russ Nelson.
Yeah.
Or what? Okay.
Yep.
And you were a teacher at that time.
Yep.
Right?
I taught physics at Fargo South at that time, and taught there until 2010, and then moved to Davies and coached at Davies for 2 years before I went on to NDSU.
Okay, your high school coaching career.
Oh, geez, yes.
So, I mean, there's your resume there, accomplishments. There's guys that have coached forever. Won't even sniff the. How many state championships did you win at South and then Davies?
Well, we won 12 at South.
12 from 93 to.
And we never finished lower than third place.
Wow,
that's impressive.
That's really impressive. But we had a streak of 11 out of 12.
And Coach, is it true that the 11 out of 12 the other year was Deacons?
Yes, okay. That was what your dad always said. Yes. He said when we talk to people, say, "Yes, Coach Kennedy and I, we've won the last 12 state championships. I have 1 and he has 11."
That's great.
Yeah.
So that kind of run when you're doing that, I mean, do you realize what's going on while you're in that? I mean, not that you take it for granted, but there's a lot of great players. We had Tom Hoagie on the week that you were. Congratulations on your induction into South Hall of Fame.
It was a fun day.
We had Tom on, and we were just talking about that being part of a program that with that much success. Can you explain what it's like being involved in that?
It's. We had so many good players then. I mean, and so many people trying out for the team. There were times when we had over 100 people try out for our team.
Say, how do you narrow that down? We were kind of joking. I forget which episode it was, but there was, Mark, you had mentioned there was a time where you just had them swinging in the sports bubble, and that you selected based on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you have 100 kids trying out, you can't get a course to go out in the spring of the year in Fargo, North Dakota, to take on that many people to play. Mm-hmm. And so we had to look at some swings and cut it down to a manageable number, like 36 or so, I think, that came out and actually tried out.
Wow. Based on just the swing, or would you actually have them hit a ball?
Well, no, I mean, they hit some balls. Actually, and if you talk to Kane Hansen I cut Kane Hansen.
Wow.
Really? During a swing tryout at one time. And then he went to our intramural program that we had developed, and he moved up through the year, and ended up playing on that same state championship team that same year. So we brought him up off of intramurals after I cut him.
Intramurals.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So feeding that your high school team, I know our dad was involved in the Fargo-Moorhead Junior Tour. Can you speak a little bit to that just how that worked? These kids were playing summers, learning the game, and how that fed your program. Any connection to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, back in the 90s when we had this success, the junior tour was huge. That's where all the kids played. As time went on, more of the kids started going to Minnesota to play in the junior PGA over there, and then playing in bigger tournaments. But back when I first started coaching, we used the junior tour a lot, and we had all of our kids playing in it. The all cities, everything around here, and there were some memorable tournaments. I remember that we had a lot of the players in the finals. In the match play, we had all Bruins. Every once in a while, a Deacon would sneak in there.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while, he says.
But we just had a lot of good players in the FM area.
Yeah.
I mean, North High, Shanley, Fargo South.
So when you talk about coaching high schoolers, and so I have a very vivid memory in my high school years. So I graduated 2017, and you coached for a couple of years early on there for Fargo South, right? I forget what you said. You went over to NDSU
2013.
13. So
You were with Davies. You said
I was at Davies.
At that time you were at Davies.
Right.
And so my vivid memory of the coaches in high school were that there was not much coaching going on during the tournament.
Exactly. We didn't.
Yeah. LJ, I was going to bring that up too. I remember Dad and you guys just going, we'd show up in the van as a team. We'd go and get our card, go practice, hit a few balls, come back to the first tee, and coaches are gone. They're already out playing.
Yep.
You guys played a lot of golf and had a lot of fun.
We did. And as a matter of fact, my first year of coaching, we're going to the state tournament, or actually the regional tournament, and the state said, coaches, you can't play. And I'm a first-year coach. And all the veteran coaches, they go, come on, Kaylee, get your clubs. We're going. And I'm saying, well, what is it? They told us not. I don't care. We're going. Get your clubs.
That's great.
So I go out and we play. We get in trouble. We get on probation. Go to the state tournament. Same thing happens. They said, you guys aren't playing. And all these older coaches that have been there forever, they go, come on, we're going again.
Yeah.
And so I remember getting called into the athletic department, or the director, telling me, hey, this is going to stop. You're not playing anymore. It's like, okay. But yeah, you're right.
It was, as I understood, there was a stretch of time where you guys would play for quarters or dimes or whatever it was.
Yep.
And was there a stretch of time, like years, where you and Coach Johnson didn't lose literally a dime to those guys?
Yeah, we would play against Ray Callahan.
Fargo North, right?
Merle Mickelson.
Where was
Red
Mickelson?
River.
He's
Grand
from Red
Forks,
River.
Okay.
Those were our main competitors. And I remember one year, Ray came to the first tournament of the year, and he goes up to your dad and I, Don and I, and he goes, boys, it's going to be different this year. And Johns goes, what do you mean different? He goes, we're not playing for a quarter anymore. We're going for 50 cents a point. And your dad and I looked at each other, just got this big grin.
Right.
And so, yeah, we put both of our kids through college, I think, with playing against Ray and
That's fun.
Ray and Merle.
Well, and that's like the tournament within the tournament.
Oh,
then.
yeah. And there was a lot of talk.
Yeah, I
Oh,
bet.
A lot of talk.
And that's funny too, because you could always tell which hole the coaches were on when Coach Johnson, you could hear anytime they go over the bump in his A1 ding putter.
Oh,
ding,
yeah.
ding.
That's
Hang
correct.
A
Yes.
couple fairways away, or you could tell when he was coming over to just check up on you, see how he's doing.
The one story I remember about your dad was at the state tournament in Minot. We were at Service Valley, and I think it's hole 10 that has that big hill. Do you guys remember?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Tee
remember
shots
the course.
downhill.
Yeah,
and-
it's a huge hill.
Yep.
And I remember we're sitting in the cart up there, and your dad looked over me and said, watch this. And he
Uh-oh.
put the cart in neutral.
Oh, God.
And we're going down this hill, and we're flying. I mean, I bet we're going 40 miles an hour. And the cart starts going sideways.
Oh, geez.
And we get down to the bottom, we get it stopped, and the West Fargo coach came up behind us, and he goes, what were you guys doing? He said, I didn't know how I was going to tell your wives you guys died in a golf car accident. So it was, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
A few of those episodes, I'm sure.
Well,
out
he
there.
loved that move. I remember when we were at Ponderosa, I forget what holes that is similar. He did that with me in the cart too.
Oh, number 8.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I
the tee
thought it was
shot.
eight.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did that with all the grandkids.
Down
He
the
thought
hill.
that was hilarious.
It never seemed to work when I did it, though.
No,
It was
no.
for whatever reason.
So, but that was just a little different mentality. The kids, I imagine you're saying, go out and play.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know what? We worked on whatever we're going to work on. This is your game. Go play. I mean, you weren't hovering over the kids.
No, we weren't. And, and I don't know, this may sound a little strange, but I think my coaching style at NDSU is kind of like that too.
I would
where,
agree.
Where I let them go and play. I'm not sitting there micromanaging them, telling them what they have to hit off a certain hole. These guys play their best golf in the summer. Nobody's around them telling them what to do at that time. And so I've always believed that you just let the kids play. If they have the talent, you let them play. If they need to talk to you, they need some support. That's what I'm there for, I feel.
Sure.
And, even in the practices that we have, I can't remember who told me this, but there's a difference between a golf coach and a golf teacher. And he looked at me and he said, I think you're a golf coach. He said, I'm a golf teacher. I teach the swing, but you
Sure.
coach golf.
Sure.
And I think there's something to that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting now. You see how coaching has evolved to almost a micromanaging style, where if a coach kind of has a vision for how his team's going to go, and that person is not swinging or playing the golf hole correctly, you hear stories of some coaches that, unfortunately, it's happened. But if you're not hitting 5-iron here, going for this green, you're not playing in the next tournament. That's not how I think it should function, right?
No.
And having played for you for 4 years, I think your coaching style fit my style very well, and we've had some successes as a team. And I think it speaks to how great of a coach you are. I mean, it is you're there when you need you. It feels like you're always there at the right time, which I think helps tremendously. Although I will say, do you remember our last?
You
I
brought
knew
this
this
up, I
was
think,
gonna
on a
come up.
podcast.
He's brought
didn't
this up.
I think
Yeah, I know.
He's scarred for life.
Yes, he is.
I
I
have
love
it on
it.
video if you want to watch it. It's on my
It's-
phone.
our final walk up the 18th hole of my college career.
This is a tradition you've started, right?
Yes.
With your seniors?
Yes,
That's really nice touch.
It is a great walk.
Do you say the same thing to every one of them?
I do not. It was,
Okay,
that was a tough day.
Let's hear it.
That was
That was
I
a
mean,
tough day. I
the
saw
guys
a
were
lot of
struggling.
things happen out on the golf course that day.
Yeah, and it was blowing.
Yep.
I think I think I shot 70 that day and was one of the
Mhm.
lower scores on the course.
With bogey on 17
With-
after 60, nice
I was-
66 the day before or
Yeah.
something low the day
67 the day before.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
After we don't have to talk about the first day, but no, and it's comical because the timing was just perfect. I had just roasted one down the fairway, feeling great, and we were chirping one other guy because he hit iron off the tee,
Mhm.
and we did good. And then the quiet set in, not sure what to talk about, and we're just getting up to my ball, 100 yards in or so. You hear what happened to Diesel?
Oh, God.
No, coach, what happened to Diesel? Got the hosels on hole 6.
At least you didn't say the word shame.
No, that's
No,
not. You
he-
can't say
you
that.
can't. It's
No,
a
that's
dollar swear word
That's
for
a
him.
dollar
Oh,
word.
no.
And I don't know. I'm sure you didn't mean it.
No.
Right over that. That's to me. That's just the best parting gifts I could have. I think I safely put that next shot on the green and took my 2-putt and got out of there.
I know you did, but to my defense, that walk up 18 it's a fun walk, but a hard walk for me.
Yeah,
Sure. Has anybody who's ever heard me speak at a banquet or whatever it may be, I'm a crier, and I get kind of sentimental, and I start thinking about all the good times we've had, and
Yeah.
I'm getting a little emotional right now,
Yeah.
even thinking about
Yeah.
this, and it's you spend a lot of time with these guys,
Yeah.
and it's a special time.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, having it at the same course for 4 years for that conference title, it kind of adds a little bit to it. I think too. yeah, that was so many good memories just at that golf course alone.
Yeah.
But then you look at the season. I mean, you're spending, was it like 9-10 months with these guys?
Yeah.
Just being around them. My question is, how has the game changed? Obviously, we sit here and we look and we say distance and we say, whether it's game management or others, but from a coaching standpoint, whether that's recruiting or just even coaching, how's the game evolved? What's different now in 2023 as you're coaching these kids versus when you started coming into the game?
I think the length is the big thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to look at length. When I first started recruiting, I was recruiting some guys that could score well, but they didn't hit the ball far enough to play Division I golf. And so it didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. Now, we look at the length and, I, as a teacher for 30 years, I get this gut feeling about kids. When I talk to them, when I talk to their parents, what kind of kid are they? And they, most of the time, I'm looking for the demeanor that they have, what kind of student they are, if they're going to fit in with the team. And, most of the time that works for me, and they're hard workers and they just get better when they're at NDSU then.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's the proper way of saying it, but you can teach a kid how to play well, right? And score well, whether that's, I thought I developed more just being around the game. I was late to the distance game. I think getting in the weight room was a big part of that, but being able to bounce back from a double bogey or you can teach them a mentality. And I think that goes to your coaching style of being with them when they need you there, and you and Coach Murphy might be the two most positive people I've ever met.
Well,
on a golf course.
On the golf course, you don't see a lot of good things on the golf course for some reason. I mean, you see a few birdies here and there, but there are times when, someone has a triple or a quad or, for God's sakes, more, and you have to go up to them and, what do you say?
That's tough.
I mean, so it's
tough. I probably wouldn't lead with that, Chuck.
No, the situation's tough. That's not what he's saying. The situation's
Well,
tough.
you made a
that's
mess
tough,
of that one.
Yeah. Holy mackerel. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
I lost count.
Yeah. What did you have there? But no, it's you have to kind of find some things to talk about other than golf when that happens.
Sure.
Did I hear a rumor too? Sometimes you'll introduce a tune or something like that.
Try to get a song in their head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Great technique.
You used that on me a couple times, and that was what
Did
song?
it work?
Probably more. More times than not.
Huh.
There were a couple times. I remember. I think it was more with Coach Murphy, who we need to have on here as well. But it was more of like, Coach, I need you to stop being nice to me and just be frustrated as I am right now. Like I just, for whatever reason, it was just like, tell me I'm bad. Okay. Like I struggled. Just tell me I'm bad. But you guys never, you did such a great job of keeping our heads up, and that's golf, right? You're going to have a bad round.
So you touched on a little bit with recruiting. Where are you looking for your next young player? I mean, how far is your reach? Is it tri-state? Are you looking, would you go to Georgia? Would you go to Florida? I mean, what kind of kid, where are they coming from?
Most of the guys that I'm looking at right now are in the tri-state area. And if they have a connection to North Dakota, that's another one that I'd look at. I'm looking at a couple of kids in Arizona right now that have connections to North Dakota. They know what the weather's like up here. Their parents grew up here. It's really hard to tell a kid from Arizona if they've never been to North Dakota what it's like.
Sure.
And I've had a couple of kids come up here. One that had ties and did quite well. Another one that didn't and didn't do well. I also think that recruiting in the tri-state area, everybody kind of has the same values. When I look at our team right now, we have 8 guys from Minnesota and 1 from North Dakota. And our team and the ones that Lucas was on too, it just seems like they all get along and they want to spend time with each other. They've known each other. They played against each other. And I remember playing basketball in high school and finally graduating and coming up to NDSU and playing intramurals with guys that I played against in high school. And that bond that you had playing against each other just carried over, and you just want to do so well playing with that other person. And so I think that's It's something that I look at, that I take very seriously, and you have to try to find the kids that are going to still, develop and get better as we go along.
Sure.
Yeah, it is a process. I mean, college is a wonderful time, and not only academically, but you look at athletically too. Weight room's huge. You talk about the distance, getting them in the weight room. There's the old saying of the freshman 15. I think when you get these guys in the weight room, it's like, I know I had like 25.
Yeah.
Just that freshman year alone. That's where it was fun. Once you're out of your freshman year, looking at the freshmen coming in and seeing, you guys, you're going to change. Things are going to get different. I think I left college. I think I came in at 160. I left at 200. And that was, I'm hoping, muscle. For the
most of it was muscle. There was a time there that
I do. Here's another story. Oh boy. You remember? I think you do. It was North Carolina. I think was it North Carolina? It doesn't matter. But it was Houston actually, because we were at Augusta Pines.
Okay.
And I have the picture on my phone. You remember that? You started making fun of my gut.
I remember making
like
fun
during
of it.
a round. Was it during a round? I think.
Oh, yeah,
good.
actually,
I like it.
I was trying to lighten the mood. You probably had a bad hole.
This goes to his coaching style. So we're walking, and I'm doing the classic arm over the bag.
Oh, that's
that.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're walking down the fairway, and I'm not playing well. And whether it was the song you started off with, silence came in again, and he looked over at me, and you go, "You know what? You got a bit of a gut."
That's great. Love it.
Well, and you did.
I did. I did.
But you don't anymore.
I'm working on it, Coach. I'm working on it. No, so that started, and that was like, okay, great. Thanks for that. I'm
really building them up.
I think he went. I think he went on a string of 3 birdies after that.
I might have. I played well there.
I know you did.
But it didn't stop there, Coach.
Oh,
you remember getting back to the hotel?
No, I don't.
No. Okay, so we get back to the hotel, and the team's out of the van, and we're getting in the elevator, and we're all in the elevator, and the doors close, and before we start going up, you go, oh man, 2,200 pounds. LJ, you got to get out. We're too heavy.
Nice. I like it.
Wow.
I like it. It's motivation.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was like,
I love it.
I think it was just because I had kept mentioning how much weight I was gaining from high school, and so you were just leaning into it.
I don't remember that, but yeah, I do remember a little bit of that.
That was then the joke moving forward for the team. I had a bit of a gut, and so that was pretty funny. But yeah, I do have that picture here where I was taking a picture of the hole, and you stepped in, and I said, "Coach, what are you doing?" And you're just like, I'm imitating your gut, right? Oh, so it was pretty funny. But
it is fun looking back at pictures from freshmen to seniors, though, and seeing how big they get, and just how much the weight program influences them.
So is that what they're doing right now, Coach? Talk a little bit about what your expectations are of your players this current, like right now.
Yes, right now they're lifting 3 days a week. I go down and check on them about once every 2 weeks and just pop in and say, "Hey, how's it going?" Yeah. We will start practice for the spring now Thursday. That's our first day.
Wow.
And so our first tournament's going to be coming up February 18th and 19th at Savannah, Georgia, where you played.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not that waterfall.
Can you speak to players? And if you can't, that's fine. I know a player had a lower body injury. I follow UND hockey, and they never divulge what the injury is, but I know there's a lower body injury. Can you talk about?
Yeah, I can talk about that. I mean, I think it's public knowledge. I mean, he hasn't been a secret about it. Ian Simonich this past right after our fall season,
which he had a great fall season, right?
Yeah, he's in the top. I think he's in the top 125 right now
in the country.
Wow. And so he's having a great fall. Torn MCL, and so he's rehabbing it. We're going to try to play through it this spring. He's hitting full shots right now, having no problem with that. Has no problem walking. He's lifting in the weight room again. Then he'll hopefully play through the spring season, and then have surgery after that.
Okay,
and be out.
Amazing.
Be out.
To plan something like that. I imagine walking has to be an issue because the players have to walk. There's no golf carts, and
we're going to push. We're going to have them push a cart for the spring.
Okay.
So yeah, we've had some leg injuries. Nate DeZiel,
we
had a freak accident. So yeah, it's hopefully Ian can get through
And
this.
it was a freak accident, right?
It
I
was.
mean, he was playing basketball, but it wasn't a contact
Oh,
deal.
you mean
That's
with
Ian.
Both Ian and Nate were kind of freak.
Yeah, Ian
deal.
was just playing basketball, which he's never done before. I don't think he's a hockey guy.
He's a hockey
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
And
Good
went in for a layup. Tells me he scored, but then just landed on his feet and his knee blew out.
Yeah.
And
No,
Nate,
it's
and Nate
crazy.
DeZiel was getting up off the weight.
floor. He
Off
kinda
the floor.
said that.
Yeah, weight
And
room floor.
Wow.
It is,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to just to blame the weightlifting, but that's just not the case anymore. Because I know in your guys' day when you guys were doing, I mean, golfers didn't lift
We didn't lift.
for that reason, right? You didn't want to be too bulky or whatever it was.
Yep, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Okay.
I did lower body for football.
Yeah.
My football coach, Bruce Larson, was also
Oh,
the
yeah.
golf coach.
Yeah.
And Bruce agreed with me. Let's just have you do lower body for football. You got to keep your upper body loose and supple. So he cut me a lot of slack in football weightlifting where I just do more squats and
Mhm.
stuff. So
leg day.
there is a picture of, I'm in that Roger Maris picture. Now it's in the lounge
Oh,
where I'm
yeah.
standing in the background with the Shanley jersey on because I was a
The
club runner.
Shortest possible shorts you could find.
Shorts were pretty
Yeah.
short. And the
Yeah.
thighs were big because I did a lot of lower body. Bruce had me working on lower body.
Yeah.
Well,
Great.
that's good.
If
So
you've ever
that's a
seen
great-
me in shorts,
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot.
Well,
of
we
weightlifting.
have a story
Oh,
about you
gotcha.
in shorts.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We'll
Now
get
that
to
we have
that.
a video, now we have a camera, it will make more sense.
yes.
I can
Okay.
hardly wait.
So, so we can get that documented. We're going to take our break real quick.
Okay.
And after the break, we'll get back to it. Coach, we're going to keep you around here because I don't even think
We got a few
scratched
more
the-
stories.
Yeah, we haven't even
We
scratched
talked
the
about
surface.
stuff we want to talk about. Yet.
Right.
Exactly. So we're going to take our quick break and we'll be right back.
When you think golf clubs, think Sweet Shots. January 28th, for example, we are offering a fitting day. Come on out, try the new Callaway product, Paradigm. It's fantastic. We have the best fitters around from noon to 5. Swing by.
Noon to 4. Noon to 4.
Oh, noon to 4. You'd been out of luck. Noon to 4, the 28th of January. Visit with our fitters and check out the new Callaway product at Sweet Shots. See you there.
January 28th.
January
Saturday.
28th.
Let's get better today.
Let's get better today.
What do you think of that?
I
I
like
came
it.
up with that the last
There you go.
week.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Let's get better today. That's what we get for not, these are off the top of our head advertisements. So it's 12 to 4 Saturday the 28th. So everyone's good. But that's good. That's good. So getting back into it, Coach, I mean we could be here days on end with stories, but we kind of touched on it, recruiting, but as far as this year's team goes, I mean, having been kind of on the upward trajectory from when I started, as far as the team strength in my mind goes, I mean, this has to be one of the strongest teams NDSU has had in a while, right?
Yeah, I think so. Our depth is tremendous. The guys, played so well this fall. We have our highest ranking golf stat ranking ever. We're number 84 right now.
Wow, that's
Congrats.
awesome. Yeah,
Thank
congratulations.
you. And I think when about 10 years ago, I think we were 275 or something like that.
Wow.
It's we've come a long way with some really good players here.
Top
So does
100
that-
team you're in North Dakota.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, that's
That's
impressive.
phenomenal.
That is some
Thank
of the,
you.
and I've told it before, but that's one of the best feelings I think you can ever have is coming like now, the start of the season, going to the south and kicking these teams' butts just right out of the snowbanks.
we hope to. Yes,
Yeah.
it's hard for us. It takes us a couple tournaments usually
Right.
to get rolling again. But some of the guys have been down south playing, and so I think we'll hit the course and run.
Well, now you got a
Yeah.
facility out here now too,
I know.
year round,
Yep.
where you can get full ball flight in the winter. I know
and we'll be out.
when we were doing it, I mean, you get the bubble, and now you're going to
Mhm.
get the new indoor facility that NDSU built for football. It's all multi-sport now,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Amazing facility from what I've seen. But you're still hitting into a wall. So you come out here,
Mhm.
you get full ball flight. I mean, doing that in January, February is
Yep.
very beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. And we're gonna use Sweet Shots a couple of times a week here.
Oh, great.
So-
Excellent. So it's getting ranked, you said 84th?
Yeah, right now. Yeah,
Does that get you invited to different tournaments that perhaps you wouldn't have had you not been so?
we
been
are
ranked so
we are starting to get some invites. Yeah, it's it takes a little while. We're going to Bandon Dunes next year. We're going to go out and play in that. That we're all looking forward to that one. We're going to go to Pittsburgh this spring. University of Miami, Ohio is hosting a tournament there. They invited us to with some Big Ten teams and some Big East teams. So we're looking forward to that. We played against Michigan and Kentucky this fall in the Upper Peninsula. And did well against them. So yeah, it's fun to finally get to play some of these bigger teams. It's really hard to get into their tournaments. Sure. They just don't want to play us.
And we had Josh Persons on last week, and that's what he was kind of saying. Like, these upper echelon teams keep it to themselves, because if they do get beat by a team ranked outside, that really impacts their standings.
Yep.
And so it's tough to get into those. And so that's awesome that you guys are starting to make that climb. And I remember, my freshman year, that conference tournament was just so much fun. And we started out hot too. We went to Arbor Links for Nebraska Omaha's tournament. Mm-hmm. We won that one. And then we went Colgate, right, out in New York, and we won that one. And it was like, okay, we got something special here.
Yeah.
And we had a great fall season, and then coming back in the spring, like you said, it kind of took us a couple to get back into it. But then come conference time, I mean, that was just a blast. I remember standing on 18. I think Nick Myrie was coming out. He was our one at the time. Andrew was playing.
Andrew was, yeah.
God, the pictures of him with no hat there. His hair was crazy. And just how windy that was.
Yeah.
And then doing the math in our heads, watching the phone, because it came down to the last hole, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
And, just
and
the excitement.
When Izzy hit that shot to about a foot, that's when I finally took a breath.
Right, yeah. So, like, when you're out on the golf course, actually, so I'm going to back up. So I think I told this before, and I want to give you the chance to say it, because I remember the FedEx truck was a big thing for you. And I remember going into the conference tournament. I think at one of our team meetings, you even said FedEx. You gave us a FedEx story. What speak to that? I think I butchered it the last time, but
well, this was back in 2008. Shanley had a better team than we did in high school. We were going to the regional tournament, and
Can you back up? Can you say that? What did you say that again?
Who had a better team?
During the regular season, Shanley had a better team. And I remember going to the regional tournament up in Grand Forks and trying to look for a little boost for our guys. Mm-hmm. And we pulled in, and teaching physics, where I always talked about, some symbols and things like that. I said, "You guys see the arrow in the FedEx truck?" And I pointed it out, and I said, "Look at that arrow. It's pointing right to us. We're going to win today." And it came down to the last hole, and we were a couple shots back, and Adam Granis was coming up against a young man from Shanley, and they were both sitting in the middle of the fairway, and the young man from Shanley hit it over the green and then kind of had a little trouble and took a double. And Adam had about a 15-footer for birdie, and he made it.
Wow.
And so we won by one.
Wow.
And we're talking about the FedEx truck all the way home. Well, we get to the state tournament, and we pull in, and we're going to the first round of the day, and behind us comes a FedEx truck. And I said, "Hey, fellas, this tournament's ours. Look there's the arrow. It's pointing right at us again."
Oh, boy.
So we go out and we play, and we win that tournament by about 5 or 6 shots. Later that summer, I was nominated for the National Coach of the Year. It's in Denver. My wife and I went out for a burger for lunch, came back, we're walking into the hotel. What pulled up but a FedEx truck? And I looked at my wife. I said, "You don't suppose." And sure enough, that night they announced my name, and I won.
Wow.
And so then we get to the conference tournament with these guys, and I'm walking down the fairway in our practice round, and Ryan Nelson was a video guy. And I looked up, and you can see Interstate on one fairway. And I looked over there, and I said, "Ryan, look. And that's a FedEx truck." I said, "Just remember that." And that night we had our team meeting, and I talked about the FedEx truck and told the story. And then I had printed out FedEx stickers, and I told them, put them in your bag. And we went along, and during the tournament, I think there was a train even that went by with FedEx trucks.
It was like 20 different FedEx.
Yeah, and at that point, I think that just kind of carried us through.
Yeah, I mean,
That's great.
I always think, I think the Office clip where he says that you're not necessarily superstitious, you're just a little stitious.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, that's again kind of goes to the coaching, how you coach, and I think it was just a nice little added touch.
Just look for a little boost here and there.
Little morale boost.
Yeah.
So I got to interject. I played golf. My college coach, so I played at MSU, was not doing any of this, Kennedy.
No.
I look across the table. There was no motivation coming from my coach.
Well, I always made sure I had bail money with me.
He's right.
Keep those guys to make sure I got them to the first tee the next day.
Yeah,
It was a little different
Yeah.
era. What year would that have been?
95, 4, 5. Yes. He's right. We were having a
Wow.
lot of fun. We were good,
Had a very good
but
team.
we
Mhm.
couldn't stay out of the bars at night and turn in late. And then we didn't play so well the next day.
Times have changed.
Times have
Times
changed.
have changed.
Was Brad banging on that team?
He was.
So Brad broke his putter like early in a round. You ever have a player break a putter in a round?
Yes,
Coach?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah. He was functional with, and he mixed it up. You know, some guys will go right to their driver or their wedge or
Yeah.
whatever. He mixed
Feel.
it up. It was, I'm feeling 3-wood this
Yeah.
green.
And Jimmy Clark,
James Clark
Was our
yes,
number
good
one.
player. We had a nice.
Mhm.
he was
team.
leading. Remember at the finals?
Yeah, I think we were in
Was-
Aberdeen.
Was it Aberdeen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Leading
So
after day one, then we might have went to, well, it was his idea. We're going to the bar. I'm like, oh boy. And then I think he fired
Mark's
like
idea?
no.
Oh, okay.
No.
The medalist, the leader in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not
Well,
good.
he's got to celebrate. You know,
Yeah.
I was fast asleep, Coach.
Yeah,
And they woke me up. I think actually security knocked on my door saying, we need a little help with the room next door. They're being too loud. And I'm like, it's 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
and you didn't hear him?
no, I was sleeping. I was out. Anyways.
Anyway.
So that's
Okay.
yeah. But so if you win this conference tournament, which is in the spring each year,
Right.
you get to go to the NCAA region
Mm-hmm.
tournament, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
That is a big tournament.
It's
You're
a
playing.
national tournament.
National
that's-
tournament.
Yep.
And that's the goal, right? I mean,
That
we
is
want to
the
get
goal.
yourselves there and
That's
see what
the goal.
happens.
You know, I think our goal is to get out of regionals, you know, and move on to the national.
Okay.
And so you have to be in the top 5 teams out of the regional. And I think we can do that. Denver beat us last year at the conference tournament by 1 shot.
Yeah, I remember.
And
Yeah.
they were at regionals last year. They were right there until the last couple of holes. And I think they missed out by 2 shots.
Wow.
Going to
Remember
the
that. It's
nationals.
close. So the gap's closing
Mm-hmm.
with, we talked to Josh a little bit about that, the difference between, say, a Minnesota and North Dakota State. That gap is really closed a little bit. I mean, where do you think NDSU would finish in a Big Ten schedule, playing those teams day in, day out, the courses they're playing? Have to imagine it'd be really competitive.
I think we would be. I think you know, we'd be in the top half.
Yeah.
You know, I look at when we do get a chance to compete against the Gophers in other tournaments, we do quite well against them, and you know, it's kind of our measuring stick. I think is to be able to be with them.
That's kind of how we've used it too.
Mhm.
And when I was playing, it was always give us a shot at Minnesota and
Yep.
kind of go from there.
You know, they a lot of our guys have some chips on their shoulders because they looked at them for a while and then they didn't think they were good enough.
Oh.
And so it's you know, our guys are hungry usually when they come here,
Sure.
and that's always a good thing.
And do you think there'll be a day where they'll invite you to their fall tournament?
I'm going to talk to Justin again. I haven't talked to Justin in a couple of years about coming down to their tournament, but I hope that we can.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
Good for NDSU to get down there.
Yeah.
But then you're getting exposure in their backyard, and not that you're not already there recruiting, but you know,
You know, that's the Gophers are down there, and St. Thomas is going to hurt us, I think, coming into our conference recruiting wise. You know, they're right there. They can talk to the kids a lot more than we can. They know them a lot better than we do. They've got a couple of young coaches that I think are doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenge for us to get some of the city's kids now.
although yes, I would agree having another D1 program there and is a challenge. But some of those kids want to get out of the Twin Cities too.
Yeah, they
right?
do. Yeah.
And so don't underestimate kids wanting to get away from home a little bit, right? And be around great people like you and Murph.
Thank
so
you.
Yep.
one of your major calling cards.
Yeah.
When do we get to talk about bowling?
Well, I had that next. Can we go there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
It's a bonus today.
I appreciated, before we went live here, Coach was indicating he listens to the podcast, which
Yes,
we
I
really
do.
appreciate that. And he says simply the conversation, again, for the listeners, those that may not have been listening to whatever number that was, is it harder to get a hole-in-one or to bowl a 300 perfect game, right? And that was the
That was a
debate
conversation.
we had.
Yep.
We went round and round. Here we have an individual who's not only a really good golfer, but a very good bowler. Mark and I say we're good bowlers, but we're nowhere near the level of Coach Kennedy here. So you carry a plus 200 average, correct?
Yep.
And you just bowled just yesterday.
Last night.
Last night.
Yeah.
League.
Yes, league.
Okay. And what were your games?
278, 181, 255.
So 278. Talk us through.
That's without bumpers, correct?
That's without bumpers. Yeah.
That's an extra at Kingpins.
The 278, I started off with 2 strikes. Then I was a little bit high and left a couple of pins and got that spare. And then I went on a streak for the rest of them strikes.
Wow.
4 through the 10th.
Have you had a 300?
No, I've
You
had
haven't.
11 strikes twice.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
I just can't get
How many 700s have you rolled?
just 2. Both of them this year.
Lifetime?
Yeah, just
Oh.
both this year.
Between the
65 years old now, and I'm starting to
Bet
bowl
better.
well. It's like, what's going
You're big.
on?
between the 4 of us in this room, we have 3 700s.
That's good. That sounds like
I
you're
got
good.
one.
Yeah. I'm
That's
looking
funny.
over here now. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's harder to get that 300.
Do you?
I do, because the pressure keeps building. In a hole in one, it's you just kind of stand there, you go to hit your shot, and it's either going to go in or not.
You're right.
But in bowling,
I agree.
when you get to that 10th frame,
Yep.
it's all of a sudden it's just one little twist of the wrist a little bit too much, and it's over.
Well, and I've witnessed one. And the other impact or part of it is everybody goes quiet
I know, and they're
And-
watching.
and they're watching. In the league we did, Big John gets
Yes.
up there, has an opportunity for a perfect game, and nobody goes to bowl. And all of a sudden it's just silent.
Yep.
That to me would drive
That's
me off
pressure,
my
yeah.
game. Yeah, that's pressure.
It's like on the golf course, you got music going, you had a couple beers in you, your
Yep.
buddies are chirping you. And so,
Right. And then you'd have to knock it in the hole. Hey.
Yeah, everyone loves you.
Yeah.
And you always get that guy that comes up after the 8th frame or so. Hey, you got a 300 going. No, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Well, I told that story. I was in the 4 spot, and my cousin was bowling anchor 5, right? There's
Yeah,
5 guys
yeah,
on the team. And they're like, whatever you're talking to him about between rolls, just keep talking to him about.
It was
Well, it was
golf carts. Yeah.
He was going to buy a golf cart. So I ran out of what are the extra things you put on a golf cart? Have you thought about tinting the window, Chip? Ball washer, club washer. You can get those for a cart. I was running out of subject. Hubcaps. You want hubcaps?
It's like my coaching style.
Yes, you're right.
Something else.
Last
love
thing
it.
I was going to talk to him about
Yeah.
was his delivery method.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, right.
Did you hear what happened to Jimmy on lane 2 over there? He got
Ozzles.
3 gutter balls in a row.
Okay,
I got a foot fault.
I'm never going to
Football.
That would mess with anybody,
Oh,
right?
that
Now,
would,
now
yeah.
you're like, okay, I got to stay short of this line.
Oh, right.
That's funny.
That's good.
You are in the presence of some all city champions, though.
I've
Not in
I've
golf.
heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck and I, we have jackets to prove it.
Yep.
All city champ. What year would have that been, Chuck?
Oh, boy. It's a really good question.
Late 90s.
98.
No, we were new to bowling.
96.
So it would have been mid
As a team?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
doubles.
nuts.
Doubles champions.
Wow.
with handicap.
Okay.
Oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah, now I got it.
It was
And-
all-star.
All-star.
Bowl.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And we're bowling with good guys.
Oh, they're
Like Mike
really good.
Morris.
Yeah,
and,
these guys.
Greg McCullough types. These
McCullough's
guys,
a good goal.
yeah,
Or good bowler.
yeah, but he's always got fresh oil because he's a lefty.
Yeah, that's true.
So evidently the oil that day was not to the liking of guys that knew what oil meant. Chuck and I are bowling straight balls.
Yes.
That oil didn't affect us at all.
You won the all city with a straight ball.
Yes.
Was it a little backup one?
No.
I maybe was throwing a
I
two-board
was gonna say,
movement
yep.
just because the ball had some technology in it.
I was trying to do straight. Every once in a while, I'd do the
You would tug.
I would tug a little bit and get away with it. Yeah.
We were just,
You got to yell Brooklyn on those.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we called it Marbury, Steph. Because of the
Stephon
crossover.
Marbury,
We
yes.
called it the crossover
okay.
then.
Yeah.
And we won it.
Yeah.
We left
Wow.
there and people are looking like, who are these two idiots?
Steve Hendrickson, he was running the house there, and
Yeah.
he was happy for us. He came over,
knew
a
us.
couple athletes like you. He goes, I know you weren't sandbagging.
No.
How much did it cost you to make those jackets?
Waha. We knew a guy.
No, that was part of the prize.
It was, huh?
Oh,
Prize package. We got a bunch of cash and jackets.
and a beautiful blue coat with silk screened yellow all city
You
champs.
guys aren't real, like the body build for bowlers. You don't have that body build. Were their jackets really big?
Actually, yeah, it's a little big.
I
They're a little
mean, they
big, yeah.
usually have the
Yeah.
beer belly kind of.
Right.
and-
Buttons.
Yeah. Oh, little
Button
snaps.
Snaps. It's the
I know the
classic.
jacket. Yeah.
Varsity jacket over
Oh,
there.
it's beautiful.
So
great.
let us know if you ever want to team
Yeah.
up in a.
Yeah, we can maybe
And a-
do that. The All City's coming up again.
Dust off the shoes.
So coaching golf. How much time do you get to play golf?
Not much anymore. I mean, and this may sound kind of dumb to some people, but I'm on the golf course so much that I get home and one of the last places I want to go is back out to the golf course.
Sure.
And the other thing is that after watching these guys play and watching them hit shots all the time, I get so frustrated with my game now.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not fun.
Because you see how it
It
should be played.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at my age now, it's like I hit a good drive and it goes 225. And I have guys that in Denver this year, he had a 6-iron to 268 or something like that to 10 feet. And it's just not that much fun to sit there and go, God, I see these guys and they do it so well, and then go out there and this is so bad. So
And you have how many guys on the team?
9 right now.
9?
Yep.
Okay.
Lose
And-
one this year, lose Nate DeZiel.
So I was going to ask. Okay, you
Okay.
have one senior.
Mm-hmm. I have 2 other seniors that are going to come back for their COVID year.
Yeah, good.
Okay. How many can you carry on a team?
I've had as many as 13 when I got there.
Okay.
I like to have 7. 7 is my nice number.
Okay.
And
5
5 go to a tournament.
5 go to a tournament.
5 count 4
Yep,
every day.
Okay.
every day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm thinking we never had more than 8
Mm-hmm.
when I was there. Right?
With COVID, I've had to bring in a couple
Right.
extra kids
And that
just
was
in case.
that was a wrinkle that was
Mhm.
kind of thrown in there, and
Yep.
that was. You remember when that happened? I mean, we were down in Phoenix.
Yeah, we were. We had 1 practice hole in.
Yeah, you got the call standing on that
Mhm.
green. I felt bad for Omaha. They flew down and then they had to drive all the way back.
Yeah,
So they hopped in the van.
yeah.
Right
they-
out of the practice
their,
ground and
their
drove
AD
back.
wouldn't let them fly back. They had to drive.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, that was interesting.
COVID was
down-
coming.
Yep.
COVID's coming.
Yeah,
It,
So-
it reminded me it was like a tornado warning or something like
it was.
that.
I
It's
mean,
like,
everyone
you
just
got to get
kinda
off the course now.
We
It's
did.
like,
We did finish our round. Mostly, it
We-
started raining a
yeah,
little
I
bit,
think
so
we
we kind of
played
jumped around.
like
but
10 holes or something like that. And then most of you guys stayed down there.
It was
And-
over spring break,
right,
so it
and
ended up working out okay.
Yep. So you guys, I released you to your parents, and I think my wife and I stayed for a few days, and then we decided we better catch a plane back before they stopped all flights.
But that's and
Hmm.
selfishly, that was the year I got on the poster for NDSU.
Oh, the schedule.
And, yep, and the season got cut short, so my poster was not released very often. I don't know
well,
if many
talk
people
about
have.
that. I mean, it was really some of those players, yes, the year was offered maybe a COVID year, but, Andrew Israelson didn't take that COVID year.
Right.
You didn't take that COVID year. And, Andrew, I think of, the level he was playing at and to not have that opportunity to finish that season. And there's thousands of stories like that, not only in golf and a lot of sports, but you look back on it, it's just a shame.
It
that
is.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah, and I mean that was a great year too. We had a great team going into it, and it is what it is. That's life, and
Mhm.
we move on. And now we're here. You guys got a fantastic team moving forward, and wishing you all the best. And really excited to follow along and see you guys out here. So
Oh,
that's
thanks.
yeah. Thanks for coming on. So unfortunately, believe it or not, we're running up against our time
Okay.
again. which is crazy. I still feel like we haven't.
Still have
gotten it
more
all
stuff
in
to
there.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll
Coach
have to-
Kennedy in shorts. Here, hold this quick. Here. So Dad had to deal with Kennedy in shorts, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying your legs are skinny, but
No.
my dad would frequently see a woodtick doing this up your legs. Is that right?
Yeah, I was in the middle of a backswing one time, and he goes,
Steve, stop.
he goes, I said, what? And he goes, there's a wood tick going up your leg.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Right in your backswing.
Right in my backswing.
And this is a teammate, friend of yours.
Oh yeah, that's my partner.
Playing
Yeah,
for,
that
playing
was
for
my partner.
quarters.
Yeah, playing for 50 cents.
Oh, yeah, 50 cents. Oh, Lord.
A
Good stuff.
lot of good times.
Yeah.
Go on and on, and I hope we have you back on here, maybe
Yeah.
with a season update or something like that for people. And
If we want to watch how the guys are playing during a tournament, do you go to NDSU website, click on a link, and it'll take you to the live scoring?
You can do that, yeah, or just GolfStat.
Golf
GolfStat
Stat.
usually, or Birdie Fire. But if you go to the NDSU website, yeah.
Excellent.
It's fun to do. You keep hitting
Yep.
that refresh.
well,
What's
and
going
that's
on?
they
Yeah.
update every 3 holes. And when I was playing, it was like, what do you guys mean you're on the edge of your seat? Like, it's fine. Now following along, it's like, holy crap, how long does it take you guys to play 3 holes?
And I'm doing the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
that
can't
last
be
round,
everywhere.
I don't know what they're doing, and so I'm doing the same thing. Hopefully, there's parents there, and I can have them text me and tell me what's going on. But
It's fun.
That's fun. So, well, thanks again, Coach, for
Yep.
coming on and
thanks for having me.
sharing a few stories here today, and I hope to have you on again. Best of luck
Yep.
this spring season.
Thank you.
Moving forward.
You bet.
Give the guys our best, and hope to see you around here.
We'll be here. Thanks.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. We still got some DFS to get to here, gents. So we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back with that to finish up. All right, and we're back. Great time with Coach Kennedy. That guy, I mean, that's just a little preview as to what some of those road trips were like with him. I mean, they were crazy. I got to ride shotgun. I was the navigational guy. My main job was to point out cops along the
Oh,
on
that's
the highway.
important.
So
Very
if you
important.
see any cops, you got to let them know, because most of the time we were going maybe a little quick. Who knows?
That and FedEx trucks.
But we did have to get him that and FedEx trucks. Absolutely. We did have to get him out of here just per NCAA rules. We didn't want to bend anything.
That's right.
Talking betting on golf, and as an NCAA person, you're not allowed to bet on any sport that the NCAA has. So I don't know if they have water polo, but you can't bet on that. Maybe. Anyway, but looking at last week, good tournament. I mean, it came down to the wire with
Exciting.
Siwoo Kim.
Yep.
Taking Hayden Buckley right on the last hole there.
It was.
Really good golf to watch. That's the end of the Hawaii stretch. And we'll jump right into it here, gents. I don't know how you guys finished. I know I said I wasn't psyched about my team, but the boys stepped up. So I don't know. Chuck as the reigning goat of
boys
the
stepped up.
They
All
did.
right.
They did.
Yeah. No,
So-
let's quickly recap. I would just say, when I look at my team, I had 2 guys miss cuts, one being Tom Kim, highest
Yeah.
price guy. That's huge. And, I think back a little bit about even last year playing DFS. These guys are shaking off rust. It's still early in the year. They took
Right.
a little break from the fall. So some of these really good golfers still are shaking off. So you're going to have some of this variability where they're going to play well one event and then poor maybe the next event. And that happened with Tom Kim. Interesting, though, I don't know if you guys saw this. We'll talk about this week's strokes gained still from tee to green. It was putting. He lost 8 strokes.
I did see that.
Putting.
He had like his worst putting performance of
ever.
his career.
He was gaining strokes tee to green, and he just gave him
Couldn't
up on
putt.
putt. Couldn't putt. Anywho, so that hurt. And then Mackenzie Hughes let me down too. He ended up +4. So those guys are out. I had Hoagie. I had Gordon and Buckley. Buckley was right there.
Which Hoagie made the cut.
He did.
So
Yep.
our stat
Yep.
still stands 100%. You come on this show, you're going to make the
Making
cut
cuts. I like it.
in your next PGA Tour event. 100%.
So the guys that I had that made the cut were solid. Hoagie being my lower guy at tied T41. So 4 of them made it, but you're not going to make money with 4. You got to have
Yep. You got to have
5 and 6 is for sure
Yep.
going to get you money. So anyway, my point total is low 385. My goat friend, I think, is going to be leaving.
Yeah, spending the money on that number 1 pick and then having to miss the cut, that hurts. I was sending you guys screenshots
Oh
of
my
my
gosh.
team day one.
That-
I was so excited.
Day one.
Day one, it was like 4 holes in, and I was getting bombarded by screenshots.
I know. I got Jordan Spieth shoots 64.
Yeah.
He's leading the tournament.
Love
Yep.
it.
And then I had Rory Sabatini,
Yes.
which he dressed unbelievably this tournament.
Did he?
He thrives in the island tournaments.
Yes.
he's made. For
So I
those.
am pumped. Sabatini shoots 65 the first day. So I got first and second place, and the other guys are playing well. And then the next day, they both missed the cut.
Unbelievable.
Spieth's the first guy to miss the cut after being the leader in
since like
a long
Is that true?
long time.
yeah, like
Wow.
1940. I think in the history of the PGA Tour, there's only been 14 guys to lead after day one and then miss the cut.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
In the history of the entire PGA Tour.
Wow.
and that's how fickle this game is.
It is.
You guys,
So
and we all
dumb.
know it because
Yeah.
we play it. And if you don't play it, sometimes you can't explain it. I mean, he just like I read his a little article. He said he felt like he was dealt just a bad deck of cards that day.
Mm.
There's just no way anything was going to go his way.
Wow.
So
That's too bad.
He goes from first to missing the cut.
First to worst.
Sabatini goes from second to missing the cut. And that left me with 3 guys that finished T7.
Wow.
Aaron Badley, great value,
Yep.
great value pick. Cooch, my guy Cooch
He
did
snuck
not
in there.
disappoint.
Yeah.
T7,
Yep.
and then McNeely, who I'm really
Maverick.
still high on.
Yep.
McNeely.
Solid.
So it's not all sadness over here in Team Johnson, but Spieth and is a fluke. It was a fluke that I did not
Yeah.
at least cash this.
You're
week.
trending in the right direction. Mark.
Trending.
I'm seeing
like
the big
it.
picture.
What's
419.
There it is. 419.
Okay.
All right.
You're ahead of me. So for sure, this goat's meandering your way.
It's heading this way.
Sneak up the table there.
Okay.
Good.
But before you get all the way over to Mark,
Yeah.
So I also had Tom Kim miss the cut, but he was my only guy to miss the cut.
Nice.
But then I had Brian Harmon rattled off a little 65. Well, he went 67 the first day, 65 the last day. And then I had Siwoo Kim. I had the winner.
The winner.
So to have the winner,
Yep.
That was big. He carried me through that. Brendan Todd had a great showing as well. And a couple of my lower guys, as they made the cut, that was what I wanted them to do.
Yep.
All in all, I made money this week. I was
for you.
469 was my point total.
Wow.
Which, by my
469.
count, makes
Yes.
me
The goat.
this
Yeah, we're
week's
happy
screaming
for you.
goat.
The goat.
So that's going to go right in front
Treat
of
him
me there.
kindly, would
yeah,
ya,
Oh,
please?
yeah. Yeah.
He's my
that's a
friend.
Good goat there. So after some great golf last week, now we're transitioning. We're back on the mainland. We're out on the West Coast in California, I believe. We're PGA West, and this kind of starts the Pro-Am season. So the little nuance that we have on here is that they're playing 3 different golf courses.
That's right.
And obviously they're not all going to be the same setup. So we're not necessarily getting into a full course deep dive here. But I think John Rahm said it best last year, if people remember. He had a clip of walking off the green and almost yelling that this is a putting contest.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
It's
He
a
did.
putting contest. And they almost have to set it up that way because you're playing with amateurs. Whether that's
It's
influential-
Pro-Am.
Yep. As
Yep.
whether it's influential people or celebrities or whomever it is.
Yep.
They have to keep the pins the same the first 3 days, and they have to be accessible. You're not going to get
Right.
these professionally tucked pins in these styles of tournaments, and so kind of it takes away kind of you still got to be a ball striker, but you can get away with some more things because you're not short-sighted as much maybe or something like that. So that was my big note, is that there's going to be a ton of birdies and it's a putting contest.
And I would add, just from a DFS perspective, each player is going to be guaranteed 3 rounds,
Correct.
and then
Yes.
the cut happens,
Yeah.
right? So in that final round, so if you make the cut, you're playing that stadium course twice. That's how that
Right.
works, right?
Yep.
Course, there's solid course history out there. So I'd be relying on that. And then also who's coming in and playing in good form, right? Who's recent form strong. Pete Dye designed the stadium courses, 7,100 yards, Bermuda grass, and LJ, you said it's strong putters who's gaining strokes putting right now is what I'd be looking at. Of the 3 courses, La Quinta is the easiest course. And why that's important. So DFS, just if we could spend 1 minute talking about contests.
Sure.
You can do what's called a one-day showdown in DFS. Pick one day. So say you do that. Look who's playing, say, Thursday at La Quinta tee times, and load up on those guys.
Right.
Might be an avenue or an angle to take.
Sure.
And avoid the stadium course that typically runs harder. No guarantee there, but that could be a leverage play that one could do for those single day contests.
I think I tried that a little bit last year.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Take advantage of the folks that maybe aren't paying attention to that.
Yep.
They're just picking players because they're guys and they're not really
They know names.
Yep.
not realizing they're playing stadium course.
Yep.
Which odds are scores are going to be lower at La Quinta.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an angle to do in showdown. So anyway, okay. LJ, we want to dive into some of the just who's playing and where our thoughts are.
You know, you kind of touched on it. Course history is going to play a lot in this. And I also found that guys that play well in a pro-am setting, because it is different. You got crazy slow rounds. They're like 6-hour rounds.
Yep.
Playing 3 different golf courses. And it's a lot of golf. So I had course history was a big one. And so you look at some of the key players. This is a really, really strong field for kind of an off event, right? It's a pro-am. But you got a lot of big names in there. Tony Finau's in it. John Rahm's playing in it. You know, you got Tom Kim's bouncing back. Will Zalatoris is back. One player that stuck out to me was Tom Hoagie. And I saw it a couple. It seems like we say this every week, but this guy has proven he's won in this format. The AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach, where he won, is a Pro-Am format. And he's played here before, so he's got the course history. He's performed well in this. So Tom Hoagie, I think, maybe not the fullest value pick he's ever been, but I think he's 8,000s.
Yep, he is.
I think he'd be a good grab for people looking at that. Kind of below the radar, but he's performed in this. Otherwise, you know, you look at Tony Finau, who I think just plays all around solid. He's, again, got some course history in there. And you can't go wrong with John Rahm. I mean, the guy's a stud. And after what he did in Hawaii, you know, it's going to be tough to argue against what he's got cooking too.
Yeah, one of the hottest players right now in the PGA.
Right.
Yep. But you're going to pay for it. I mean, he's up at
absolutely.
the top.
I think he's most expensive on that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And just looking at some of my notes, I'll add to that. You know, there's 5 golfers over 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pretty strong field. You touched on some of them, if that's Rahm or Cantlay. So you got to make a choice. If you're going to go 10K, you're probably going to do a stars and scrub type build where you're going to need to find value in that 6,000 or 7,000 range. But there's some solid talent in that range too that can look for cut makers, right? Cantlay, when I look at course history, solid here.
Yeah.
Like, I think his worst finish was T9.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep an eye on. I think I already touched on it, but last week, I think people are going to be off Tom Kim based on a miscut.
Right.
But if you look at the data, tee to green strong, is just his putting was off. So if you feel like maybe he rebounds a little bit, maybe you get him at a lower ownership, could be a play.
I had that note too, similar, where I'm guessing he's looking for a bounce back week here.
Yep.
After missing the cut, got out of there early, maybe.
Worked on his putting.
Yeah, just to your point.
Yep.
It was a
Figure
bad putting way.
Yep. And then I get Will Zalatoris. You mentioned him, Lucas. I jotted his. When you look at his last time out at Century of Champions, he gained strokes each round. And he's one of those guys, you know, who's coming off a back injury. So people are staying off him going, how is he going to play? Yeah. But to see a guy improve tee to green,
he's not a great putter, though. He's not a very good putter. I mean, he's a good putter, but he's not a great
on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I think he's getting more comfortable. To your point, I mean, he's got one of the ugliest putting strokes on tour, I think. And it's definitely a target for some people in that sense. But I think he's getting comfortable, and I'm looking for. I've been a big Will Zalatoris fan. I've seemed to bet on him every year at the Masters, and I think he's prepped this year. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be really, really solid. So, well, should we get into?
Yep, you're
Let's
up first.
Big
Big winner.
The screaming.
Yep.
Go to the week. All right, so I got into the 10,000s. I went with the Patrick Cantlay right off the bat. He's on the lower end of the 10,000s, but kind of what you're talking about. He fits all the kind of the models, and he's got great course history. And it kind of, you are spending the 10,000, but it gives you a little more wiggle room in there. And then I went with Cam Young. Also got great course history and had a heck of a year last year. He was a rookie of the year, I think, for the PGA Tour. The guy's really, really solid. So looking for another good tournament out of him. Cut maker as well. And then we're getting in. I got Tom Hoagie on here. I think this is a stretch where he's going to start getting comfortable. This is around the time he won last year, and he's been playing really well. So between recent form and course history, I like where he's at. And then I went with Taylor Pendrith, and that's more statistical model cuts made.
Yep.
Just kind of fit that, and that's kind of my last three. With Taylor.
What's his price point?
He's at 8,000 even.
Okay.
So he's kind of right on that bubble as far as value pick to anything like that. And then I went with a guy that's he's a deep name, Callum Tarrant. And this is about, as in my research, I'm kind of going more model because it is such an interesting tournament with the Pro-Am. Just based off of strokes gains approach, putting, and then this weird format with the Pro-Am. This Callum Tarrant at 7,200. I think he fit a lot of those models really well. So he's a statistical pick. And then rounded out with Mark Hubbard, who I think is a good value pick for the cuts made versus top tens and the price point. He's at 7,000, rounds it out. So I didn't dip into the 6,000s at all. But I think kind of my bottom three guys might be a little streaky. But that's what I got for my lineup.
Well done. Well done. I'm going cuts made. I'm just looking for guys to make the cut. And so I stayed away from the high value guys. Harmon's my highest value guy at 9,300. Hoagie 8,400. And then I'm looking at guys. I threw Thigala on my team. I just think he's chomping at the bit. He's ready to go. He's a California guy.
Yep.
Played Pepperdine. And then I threw in a birdie maker because this is going low.
Got to make birdies.
And I got Hadwin on the squad. Burmeister's another guy that's a cut machine.
Yep.
Low at 7,400, good value. And then my one flyer that he's got a great track record there. He played, but he's on his way back. Ricky Fowler.
I was so close to drafting Ricky Fowler.
Move. I was shocked he's not on his team.
So close.
I'm willing to take a flyer on him. We haven't seen him yet.
Yep.
This is going one of two directions for him.
Yeah.
Right. This is either he's gonna
compete or he's gonna miss the cut.
It's but bigger than that for the season. I think he's going to continue to trend, and he's on his way back.
Yep.
We end up seeing Ricky Fowler win a major here in the next couple of years.
Would love it.
Or he is just on a path where he's lost his game, and he's going to,
needs a little reason.
I hope that's not the case because we need him for the game.
And the angle and the hope here is he's got a new swing coach.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the idea here is he's got a new swing coach,
yeah.
and people say his swing looks as good as ever. So I like that pick, Mark.
Okay, so that left me $300, but I'm fine with that, and we'll see what happens. But I went cuts. I'm not. I know you want the winner to make some real money, but right now,
let's get some cuts.
I want a team that I got 6 guys to make the cut.
I like it. All right,
okay,
solid. I'm going to start my team with my high guy, and I'm banking on he being low owned based on missing cut last week. I'm going back to Tom Kim.
All right.
He's gonna make putts this week. He's still hitting it good. We'll see. Then I'm sticking with Tom Hoagie. Guys continuing to make cuts ever since he's been on our show. Then I got Andrew Putnam, just solid cut maker. He's made 9 of 9, so kind of following Mark's lead there on cut makers. KH Lee, he competed, played well last week. I think he was top 10 last week, so I'm banking on current form.
Yep.
And then a couple in the 7,000s. Thomas Dietrich, guy plays everywhere. Read an article where he just played European campaign there, and they said his game's as well as anything right now. It's as good as it's been. So,
nice.
And he's made 21 of 24 cuts. So he's played a lot.
That's good. Yeah, that's a lot of golf.
And then David Lipsky is my last guy. He's got two top 10s in his last 5 events.
Recent form.
Yeah, he was up there last week.
Yep, he was 4th at Sony.
Solid.
Yeah.
So banking on a little bit of current form
on
my squad, and then some cut makers. So
I like it. I think this is gonna be another. I think this stretch of golf is really good golf as well. getting back into the mainland. So I'm starting to get the itch. I don't know about you guys for getting out and playing some golf. So
Agreed.
It'll be fun to watch. Again, cheering on Tom. I think we all have him on his team, so that's always fun. And moving forward, I think it's going to be. I'm hoping to hang on to this goat. Tell you what,
You might. It's a solid squad you got there.
I like it. So that's going to do it for us here this week. A little longer show, but again, having Coach Kennedy on, we could go forever and ever. Hope to have him back. Best of luck to you, gents. Best of luck to everyone out. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.